Hello there, and welcome to the Workshed. My name is Jay, and it's nice to talk to you again. I am out here once again with the Workshed, my Workshed crew. I brought the Jurassic Park Brachiosaurus out here. I did have her kind of in my basement, and that felt like a waste. But I've wanted her for a long time because she is just gigantic. But let me just set you all down. Just wanted to talk a little bit about whatever, but mostly just my new figure I got last week. Let me straighten this out. Bear with me. It doesn't want to do it. Okay. That's just gonna have to be good enough. So, what we got here is obviously Hedorah, the smog monster. This is from CCP. This is the middle size series, and I believe this is called Factory Hedorah. And this particular paint job is porcelain. I've been excited. I've been wanting to get a CCP figure for a while now. Mostly because, you know, they're technically sofubi, but they're also not prohibitively expensive for me. And yeah, I'm super glad to have this one. I was really excited actually because I wasn't sure, you know, how big it was going to be. I haven't had, like I said, I haven't had any of these, but it's kind of the perfect size. Hard plastic. What was really fun is I thought this was going to be all just one piece, but this actually came packed separately. A little factory, and you just kind of pop it in there, and it's a little difficult because I've messed with it so much. Now I'm trying to do it through the phone camera, and oh my goodness, what is that? Well, we'll talk while I do this. And this is part of the reason I did want to keep this one at work, because this is awfully fun to kind of touch and fidget with. And that ended up being a problem because I kept on popping this out, and oh my goodness. There is absolutely no streets around here that justify that kind of stuff. But, you know, whatever. Anywho, I had to bring it here because I kept on fiddling with it, and as I kept on taking it in and out, it became increasingly more difficult for it to stay wedged in. And I could not resist myself. So I had to remove it. But I'm perfectly fine having it out here, and I will resist trying to pop this out for the remainder of the video. But I like it. This, outside of a couple things I'm probably going to get here the next month that are just little things, probably be it for Godzilla stuff until the last of my pre-order stuff in September. And then after September, who knows? My financial situation pretty much stinks, and I can't keep on buying myself things to make me happy. So we'll see. I'm gonna go ahead and put Hedorah down and fiddle with something else while we talk. Again, all day at work today, I was, messing with some of my Super 7 figures, and they're just really good fidget fidget things. Just so good. This one's really good because you can turn the head too. Most of the other ones, they're pretty solid, although they got other ones you can turn the tail a little bit, but that's annoying. So, I've joked a little bit about ADHD and whatnot. It's never something that was diagnosed for me, but it just kind of became obvious as time went on. And I think I've probably gotten as close as I'm gonna get to official diagnosis. And I'm gonna start trying to be medicated specifically for that. And it's rough. As I've been getting older, things have been more difficult for me. Just paying attention, being focused, staying on task, forgetting things. It's been really bad, to the point that I've, wondered if I have early onset dementia, which is wild because I feel like I'm old, but I'm not anywhere near that having to happen. And then, I kind of stumbled upon the whole TikTok ADHD thing, and holy crap, it was me. So I started looking into it. I finally started going to therapy and mentioned it to my therapist, and he was like, oh yeah, that's probably the deal, my dude. So I started the process of trying to get clinically diagnosed through my doctor, and I thought I would feel better getting a diagnosis. The reason for that is that I would have answers, and I would have a justification or just an understanding of who I am as a person and what I've dealt with in my life, and that maybe not necessarily that I'm just lazy and just not good enough for some things, or just can't pay attention. It's my brain was wired differently, and I thought I would have a sense of relief with that, to just, hey, it's not just who I am, but it is who I am. But no, I don't feel better. If anything, I feel kind of worse. Struggling not to be just bitter and resentful, because a lot of my life has been dictated by things I can and can't do and haven't been able to do. And to find out that some of these things that I've always struggled with, weren't really me choosing to be these things, but it was also something that I could have gotten help for, and that's really frustrating, because I am 44 years old, and I really could have used some help a long time ago. And yeah. And the other thing is just because I have a diagnosis and I have an action plan to try to get better, I don't even know if better is the right word. I'm still very forgetful. I still struggle amazingly with details and little things, and I can't force myself to, notice and see and think the things that other people need me to do. And that's tough because, if I'm not doing something or I forget to do something, I didn't do something, I didn't, yeah, the buck still stops with me, but I don't know. It's frustrating, and I know it's going to be a long, long pathway to try different medications to see if it can help me. And I really need to be helped. I really need to be functioning like yesterday. Because it's hurting me as I'm in my adult life. It wasn't as bad even like a couple years ago for me, and it's really bad now, and it's hurting the people I care about. I complained about this to my therapist, and he just kind of said that this sort of thing happens with adults who are diagnosed with ADHD. It's just suddenly stuff stops working. And it's because I've been masking my entire life. I've learned ways and tricks to function and to hide, the way my brain's working differently. And I'm just tired. I can't actually do it anymore. I can't keep it up. So, yeah, it's frustrating, and you kind of just have to keep on keeping on, which is, what else are you going to do? Big Bird would understand. That's all for now. I didn't want this to be a downer video. I am very happy with my CCP Factory Hedorah porcelain paint skin. I really am. It's beautiful. And again, very, very pleasing tactile-wise. But I must resist popping that out. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you later.